The cat showed up the same day the drought finally broke in Dalhart, Texas. It was late September, the kind of hot that cooked your skin if you stepped outside too long. But the clouds rolled in heavy that afternoon, and by evening, the sky cracked open and rain poured down like judgment. Everyone in town welcomed it. Crops had been dying, cattle were lean, and people were getting meaner than usual. But no one welcomed the cat. It was black, not just dark, but pitch black, the kind of black that didn't reflect light. It didn't blink when you looked at it. Its eyes weren't gold or green like you'd expect, but this dull, cloudy gray like storm water pooling in a ditch. It walked into town on Main Street, right through the rain like it didn't notice it was getting soaked. The first person who saw it was old Myrtle Henderson, who owned the antique shop across from the grain supply. Myrtle had lived in Dalhart all her life, and she swore she'd never seen anything like it. It looked at me, she told folks later. Not past me, at me, and I felt cold all of a sudden. Cold down to my bones. People laughed. Old women say things. But Myrtle wasn't the only one who saw it. The cat started showing up in different parts of town. No one ever saw it walk. From one place to another, it was just there. At the diner, under booth 7, on the roof of the feed store, outside the window of the high school chemistry lab during third period. At first, folks just thought it was weird. A stray, maybe. But dogs wouldn't go near it. Every time it came around, there'd be barking down the block, then silence. Then, the next morning, someone's dog would be gone. 3 dogs in 1 week. Gone without a trace, and then the people started changing. Nothing huge at first. Just a mood shift. People who'd been friendly started snapping over nothing. Smiles turned into grimaces. The Baptist preacher, a sweet old man named Harold Dunning, screamed at his wife in front of the gas station one morning, then drove his truck straight into the canal west of town. They pulled his body out 2 days later. His wife left town the next morning without a word. The cat was seen near the canal the night before Harold died. That was enough for some folks. The ones with sense packed up and left. A few younger families, the Ramirez couple from the edge of town, 2 teachers from the elementary school. Most people stayed. Because leaving Dalhart ain't easy, and most of the time, people convince themselves nothing's really wrong. That was the same week that Jimmy Langford, a 15-year-old with a history of torturing squirrels and setting fire to mailboxes, was found dead in the alley behind the pharmacy. His neck had been torn open. Folks whispered coyote, but coyotes don't kill like that. And they sure as hell don't drag the body and lay it out like it's being displayed. There were scratches on the bricks, too. Deep ones 5 feet off the ground. The sheriff, Wallace Kent, closed the alley off and put out a public notice, telling people to keep their pets indoors and their kids inside after dark. No mention of the cat. Wallace had seen it, though. Everyone had by then. The thing would sit in the middle of Main Street at night under the broken street lamp and just watch. If you drove by, its eyes followed you. If you walked, it didn't move, not even when you were right next to it. But the second you turned your back, well, no one ever talked about turning their back on it. People started calling it the Devil's Cat. Then came the fires. It started with the farmhouse north of town, the Wilcox place. Whole thing burned down in the middle of the night. Fire department said it was a lightning strike, but there was no storm. Just dry wind and ash. No one made it out. The cat was seen that evening on their porch railing. After that, it was like something broke in Dalhart. People started reporting things they didn't dare speak of before. Dreams of dead things crawling under their beds. Whispers in the walls. Children screaming in empty rooms. Mirrors showing things that weren't reflections. Myrtle, the first to see the cat, was found dead in her shop, her body curled up inside the antique grandfather clock. There was no sign of forced entry. The cat was seen on the roof, just sitting, looking down. People stopped going outside after dark. The air felt thick, like it was pressing in from all sides. And still, the cat kept showing up. Wallace finally snapped. Told his deputies he was going to take care of the damn thing. He stood out on Main Street at midnight with his shotgun and waited. And sure enough, the cat came. It walked slow, deliberate, out of the shadows, right under the broken street lamp. It sat and stared at him. Wallace raised the shotgun and fired. People heard it from their homes, a thunder crack that echoed through town. But when folks came out, Wallace was on the ground, eyes wide open, mouth frozen in a scream. No wounds, no blood, but his hair had turned white. The cat was gone. After that, there were no more attempts to stop it. Just quiet, terrified waiting. The town felt hollow, like something had carved out the insides and left only the shell. Stores didn't open. The school shut down. People stopped talking to each other. One day the cat disappeared. Just gone. The same day, rain started again. Long, steady sheets of it. And people slowly returned to their routines, but something was broken that wouldn't heal. A year later, Dalhart's population had dropped by a third. No new businesses opened. No new families moved in. But sometimes, in the early hours before dawn, when the town is quiet and the fog rolls in over the flat Texas land, people say they still see it. Sitting, watching. Waiting.